Hey everybody, welcome, welcome to Hidden Horror. Thank you for spending this time with me. I appreciate that. Let's get started.
Happy Saturday! Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Welcome to Hidden Horror. How are you guys doing today for a Saturday? Saturday. I'm doing good. I'm feeling good. I'm actually tired, but hey, we got to push through. We got to keep it going. Um, Today I'm here. I'm here to bring you some more information about the shooter at the Trump rally in Pennsylvania. As time goes on, we're going to find and uncover more details about the shooter, his background, and try to gain some understanding why did he do this. Um, People are going to have their opinions, and I don't think anybody's opinion is any different than anyone else, which is we're all trying to figure out what's the mindset of a person that would plan and execute the plan to shoot and attempt to kill a president, right? I think when we go back and we look at the timeline leading up and pretty much at the shooting, we can see what are they doing. Is there anything we can gain or learn from seeing their behaviors? What are they doing online? Has their attitude changed? Has their behaviors changed? Have they changed their schedule? What are some of the things that they're saying? Where are they going? Who are they connecting with? Is there anybody else involved? We have to look at it all, right? So I'm here to give some more information about the shooter. Um, I think there is some misinformation out there. However, overall, we have to take the good with the bad in the news. And sometimes you hear information that's refuted. And someone says, for example, that Mr. Crooks was bullied. And then someone else comes out and says he was never bullied. And then they start putting out videos of Mr. Crooks possibly being bully targeted. You know, I'm not going to make any excuses for why someone does something bad, but I do want to look at the behavior, the mindset. What was he thinking? What was going on in his life, in his world, in his town, at his home? He was a young adult. Why is this person not focused on his dreams, his goals? What does he want to be? Who is he trying to become? Does he have relationships? Is he dating? Does he want kids? Is he even thinking if, of his future in his real life today? Was he thinking about any of those things? What was his exchanges? What was his conversations like when he talked to his parents? What do they talk about? What do they recommend for him? I'm thinking at his age, are you in school? Are you thinking about going to school? Do you want to get a trade? Do you want to go to college? Do you want to go to community college? Is there something that you want to be doing with your free time that you're not doing now? And I'm not talking about like a hobby or like playing a video game or, doing some, kayaking or anything like that. I'm saying, what would take up some of this negative time that you are spending being alone, sitting in your room, not interacting, not socializing, not going out, not hanging with friends? You know, I feel like some of the mass shooters, they have one trait in common, and it is, if you want to say that, they pretty much are alone or They are in like a solitary, confined way. They're not having physical interactions with people that can pull them out of this dark place. Hey, let's go have fun. Let's go play basketball. Let's go swimming. Let's go to the movies. Let's go bowling. They don't have that. They don't have anyone that pulls them out of that dark place. A lot of them are home. They're alone. They're in their room. Um, they're not having social interactions. They're not enjoying just being a young adult, maybe picking up a small job, maybe going to school, even if it's for part time, right? Are they volunteering? Are they going to any religious services? You know, working out, going to the gym, all kind of positive ways to get that energy out and put you in a good headspace. But we'll get started. Okay. The article is from abcnews.go.com. It's titled What Thomas Matthew Crooks Did in Hours Leading Up to Attack on Former President Trump. The article is dated July 18, 2024. It's by Julia Reinstein, and there's some video by Emmanuel Saliba and Jesse D. Martino. Okay. After we go through the article, we're going to go over the video. In the days since the assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump, the pieces have begun to come together about what the suspected shooter was doing in the lead up to the attack. The day before the shooting, Thomas Matthew Crooks went to a local shooting club and practiced on the rifle range. Counsel for the Clareton Sportsman's Club confirmed to ABC News. So we just got to take a little pause here. I want to just say two things. One thing, this kind of makes me reflect back, and I don't know if you guys remember the case of Ethan Crumbley, James Crumbley, and Jennifer Crumbley. Those were his two parents. Ethan Crumbley, he was the mass shooter at his high school. And something that he did with his parents, he went to the firing range leading up to the mass shooting at his high school, Oxford High School. And his parents, they purchased him a gun and they took him to a gun range where he practiced shooting the gun. Now, I'm bringing this up because I learned from news and reports that Mr. Crooks, he actually looked into Ethan Crumbley, the mass shooter at Oxford High School. I guess he wanted to learn about him, maybe take some pointers from him. I'm not sure. But we can see similar behaviors, the planning of the shooting, the preparation, getting access to a gun, going to a shooting range and practicing shooting. So these are things that we can learn, we can try to gain the knowledge so we can prevent something in the future from happening. You know, why are these young people given access to a high-powered gun? Moreover, are we preparing these kids for the wrong thing? And that means that not to say, for example, hunting and things like that that you do, you know, with your dad, your mom, on like a weekend trip. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, are we putting our kids in the wrong mindset where we have purchased a gun, we have a gun in our home, and then we spend the time showing them, taking them to the gun range. You know, could that time be spent better and more specifically when our child may have different challenges? And these challenges could be, you know, issues with school, not wanting to go to school, not having friends, being sad or depressed, being alone, having suicidal thoughts or negative thoughts, maybe being on medication, maybe difficulty interacting with their peers. They're not involved in any school activities if they're under the age of 18, for example. All kind of things that maybe instead of introducing them to a gun and spending that energy to bond with them over a gun and taking them, for example, to the shooting range and things like that, maybe the effort and energy and money can be spent in other ways. You already know I can list a ton. Number one, therapy, counseling, getting them involved in extracurricular activities. If they're struggling in their classes, can they get a tutor? Do they have support at the school? If they're not doing their work, is there a plan in place? Can they do some after school or on the weekend support to get that work in? If they're struggling with friends, are there programs set up within the school where they can reach out to kids that are struggling with finding friends, getting into maybe a group that would be more accepting? We can't just overlook that we do have some kids that are being targeted, are being separated and harassed or possibly bullied. We can't just overlook it. And it's happening in school and it's happening outside of school, online, of course, social media. And then kids can find a way to kind of isolate them, not just treating them bad, talking mess to them, talking negative things, but treat them bad, isolate them, make sure that no one wants to befriend them. They eat alone or they don't even go to lunch, they just bypass lunch. And then in social settings, they just quietly remove themselves. So, um, you know, we have to deal with some of these issues that are happening. And primarily they're starting at school, in school, and then sometimes they carry over after school has ended. So I just want to, say that part because I think that that's an important piece. Um, yeah, I think that when we look at these individual shooters, and especially in the case of Ethan Crumbley, I don't think that we can just look at the days or a few weeks leading up to these shootings. I think we have to take a wider approach. We have to go back further, and we might have to go back to their earlier childhood. How did they grow up? Who was in the household? How was the household being run? How are they treated within the structure of the family? When they have issues, they have challenges, how are those challenges, issues, problems corrected, addressed? If there is punishment, what does that punishment entail? What does it look like? How is it exacted? I think there is a disconnect in some of these cases with the parents. Um, I know a few of the cases with the mass shooters, but my most recent work has been done on the Ethan Crumbley case. And I have a whole playlist on YouTube for Ethan Crumbley and both his parents, but I'm going to refer to them a little bit because I do feel like in a lot of these mass shooting cases, the parents do not appear to have an inclination that their child would do a mass shooting. Sometimes when I do my research and I listen to some of the family members, but more importantly, the parents that are in the home, a lot of times I feel there's a disconnect in the reality of the child's behavior, their mindset, their thoughts, what they have done, and then what the parents perceive has happened or is happening. Most of them have no idea that their child is in a dark place. They don't see it, they don't feel it, they don't recognize it. And when you even tell them, they still refute it with, but my child was so nice, so kind. They had these interactions. They had friends. They did things. They don't see it. I remember in the James and Jennifer Crumbly trials, and their trials were separate. So you're getting testimony in each trial, but neither James Crumbly or Jennifer Crumbly could see the dark place that Ethan Crumbly was in. There were times where, for example, Ethan Crumbly was having hallucinations. Ethan Crumbly allegedly asked his mom to get him mental health help, and she laughed in his face. There were times when it just appeared that in every area of his life, it was falling apart. His his paternal grandmother had passed away. Um, his dog had passed away. The only friend he had moved away. He was struggling in his classes. Um, the parents didn't see it, neither one of them, and they were in the home day in, day out, taking him to school. It was like they were oblivious to his state. And a lot of it, in his case, you can look at it as it was elements of overlooking him, not including him, not spending that time with him. They didn't look at his journal. His journal had so many entries, like one after another, of violence acts, violent thoughts. Um, his thoughts were always dark, of doing the shooting, who he would shoot first, the planning of it, uh, how he wanted to hurt people, how he wanted to see the parents of the victims suffer, cry. I mean, his drawings, they were dark. They depicted violence. The videos he watched, it was dark. So when I look at Mr. Crooks' case and I reflect back on some of these other mass shooters, I have not done one that I've been looking into yet. I'm not going to mention which mass shooting, but I listened to his mom and just how she recounts his childhood. And I can even refer to Ted Bundy and his parents and how he was raised and how they didn't see the darkness, the dark side, the negative thinking. It's as if the child is either acting in a different manner or the parents aren't interacting with the child on a regular basis. In a lot of areas, the ball has been dropped. It's been dropped by the parents and in some cases, the school. Now, Ethan Crumbley's case, there were interactions with the school. He was um, taken out of class for, looking at bullets. Um, the day of the mass shooting, his parents had a meeting at the school that day, hours before the mass shooting. And both his parents refused to take him out of school. They didn't do it. The school counselor recommended they immediately get him into therapy because they felt that he would harm himself. But Ethan Crumbley's intentions were not to harm himself. He said he would surrender, but he wanted to kill as many kids, fellow students at Oxford High School as he could. I think we can't just look at the days. We have to go back further. And I think we could learn a lot more in this case about Thomas Crooks if we go back and not just over the fact that he allegedly was bullied. I think that is a part of it. When you look at the picture, let me share a picture of Mr. Crooks. I'm going to enlarge that. When you look at a picture of Mr. Crooks, he looks like the average student. Sometimes kids, they get bullied because they wear glasses. Sometimes kids get bullied like he has braces. He has a few blemishes on his face. Sometimes kids get bullied because of their clothing. Sometimes kids get bullied because they're not in the popular group. Sometimes kids just get targeted because they're easier target and they're not going to fight back. And I don't have the answers, but I believe if we were to go back and look at Mr. Crooks from a young child up, sometimes you can just be a good student and be bullied. People can be upset if you're a nerd and you get a lot of good grades. If you're smart, you know, we have to figure out how to make some changes so there is more acceptance, more kindness. I believe once it gets to school, it's too late. Once these kids come into the school with this mindset, we are already behind that 8 ball. We have to get them when they're younger. We have to teach this to our kids at a young age. Just being kind, being considerate, not wanting to hurt someone's feelings, not being rude, not trying to tear down a person for what they do have or what they don't have, or any weaknesses or challenges they have. Because what we're seeing more and more is getting to be like a proliferation of mass shooters. They're young, they're angry, they want to hurt as many people as they can. And the people they're hurting are not necessarily the people that they feel did things to them. Sometimes they're angry with their upbringing. They're angry with their family, their parents. They're angry at their social status, how they've grown up, things that they don't have any control over. And sometimes they're angry with how they have been treated. I remember when I brought a case a few months ago, and I'm going to get back to the article after I say this one thing. I brought a case a few months ago. There was a mass shooter at Michigan State University. And one thing that always stood out to me, he had left a note. And the note was like a detailed list of his grievances. And when I began to read the note, he had wrote over and over and over again, why do they hate me? Let me see if I can pull the note. I have to find it really quickly. Let me see. Okay. Because I want people to understand. Let me see if I can get this larger. I want people to understand that before these mass shootings ever happen, before they're planned, before they're even considered, a person is at a point, they're in a dark place. And I think some of them are radicalized. Yes, I do believe that. But I think some of them are hurt. And it's they're lashing out and they're at a breaking point. In Ethan Crumbley's case, it was the night before the mass shooting. And I'll play that video after I go over this written note. I just want to read some of what's on the note. It says, they hated me. They hate me. They hate me. They hate me. I'm tired of being rejected, outcast, loner. People hate me. They made me who I am today, a killer. No one noticed me. They hate me. They hate me without cost. Everywhere I go, people treat me different. I don't want to be an American African. I'm a person. Why do people hate me? They never accepted me. 10 years since I had sex. They hate me. Why? 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 Please give me your thoughts. Give me any comments. That always sticks with me. I almost feel like it's almost a blueprint for these serial mass shooters. Loner, alone. They treat me different. They never accept me. They hated me. Why? 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 If we don't make changes, this that we see is not going to stop. The night before the mass shooting at Oxford High School, Ethan Crumbley, he talked for about 20 minutes, his thoughts. And if it wasn't important, I wouldn't spend this time. I want you to hear his thoughts, his mindset, right? I have to get it because I wasn't going to bring up any of this. See if I can get the video. I'm trying to get it now. Might be easier to get up YouTube. Let me see if I can get it. My apologies. It's taking me so long to find the video. I'm going to go to YouTube. Trying to see. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen so you can hear this video. This video is provided by MLive. It's titled, I will try to kill as many people as I can, Crumbley said in recording before Oxford shooting. So let me just give you a little background. Ethan Crumbley had got into an argument with his parents. It was involving his grades. He was allegedly put out of the house. This was very late at night. I believe it was about 10 p.m. It was dark. And this was the moment when he decided, tomorrow it is the day and I'm going to do the mass shooting. So I'm going to let you hear his thoughts because I want you to have a good understanding of the mass shooter, okay?
The name is Ethan Crumbley, aged 15. And I'm going to be the next school shooter. Thought about this a lot. I can't stop thinking about it. Like, it's constantly in my head. Every conversation I have with someone, no matter what, I'm thinking about it and I can't get it out. It's currently November 29th, 2021, 10:05 p.m. The school I'm shooting up is Oxford High School. I'm in 10th grade there. I've always been fascinated by guns when I was a kid. I always wanted to join the forces and SWAT when I was in 3rd grade. Navy SEALs when I was in 4th. Marines, 5th or 7th. Army, Rangers. Never thought of a career.
What if I told you that you can create amazing homemade herbal skincare that's all natural, affordable?
I've never had motivation. I kept lying to myself that there is something out there for me. There was something that was going to make me happy, that was going to provide me a happy, loving, caring life. But this bullshit, it's all a lie. I realized that. Well, in 9th grade, I never thought of this. I thought I was going to make it first school and go into the army, but I realized, what's the fucking point? Millions have done it. Thousands have regretted it. Thousands have killed themselves because of it. Many come back and not happy, not satisfied. And I'm thinking it's the only thing I want to go into, but how will it make me happy? How will I love doing that? How will I love? Yeah, I realized that that's not going to work out. So I was thinking, what am I going to do? And I realized all the bullshit that was right in front of me, and I never realized it. I was always the kid who said, work hard in school and you'll get a career in life. But the career is bullshit. And it was right in front of my fucking eyes the whole time. I couldn't see it. The school system is, their main goal is to put youth just born into this world to learn. And they actually learn fucking good. They learn K through 5. They learn useful stuff. Stuff about the world that teaches them not how the world is, but how it should be and how they want it to act be. The teachers brainwash them into what they think is right, and their minds are so underdeveloped that the adults just take advantage of it. And they say that that's too good for humanity. And when you get into middle school, that's even more useless. It's just an excuse to wait till the kids grow up. They're wasting years of their life learning knowledge they're most likely never going to do unless they become a Nobel Prize scientist or mathematician or the fucking founder of a multi-million-dollar environment club. And they're brainwashed. They're teaching a working class into this world. There's no teaching of working class centuries ago. They're either born into it or they were. You were born into a working class, you were forced to work. You weren't born, you helped develop the world. You created technology, you created advances in civilization. There was only two indifferences, and the working class rose up and made everyone a working class. And now, no matter what, you just have to work. To do what? You spend.
Here's what you need to know about Tretinoin. Hi, I'm
Yeah.
Donna. I'm a nurse
Hopeless.
practitioner here at Agency. Tretinoin is
Mindset
the
is
15 years of your life just hard studying and trying your hardest to achieve the best out of anyone in any school. And then you get accepted into college. And you could be rich, so you don't have to worry about it. Or it could put you into thousands of debt. Then you get a useless job that other people have gotten, and you think that it is doing something for this planet. You think that all those years of working and you get a job is doing something for the good of humanity. It's fucking not. It's useless. The education system, the government is just brainwashing people to be a working class. They're all brainwashing them just to fucking work and keep society how it is, but people want to go a different direction. They don't want to work, but they just don't fucking understand it. I'm not dumb enough to fully understand their capabilities. I'm not as dumb as them, so I can't understand, but they want to revolt and became a new class education system that just weakens everything. They want to fucking keep the innocence of everyone. They want to make sure that monsters are a thing. They're offended of a horror movie. They want to take away what this world is. In this world, it's not heaven. There is no heaven. There is no God. There is no Satan. There is no hell. But the world is hell in its own way. People don't think of it. You think as hell is the bottom, earth is the middle, and heaven is the top. But in reality, the earth is just hell. It's always been that, and people want to just forget it. They want to just take away what already is. It's stupid. Taking action. People go and protest, fucking take away guns or make what I'm doing. I believe I am one of the first people to do this. I'm not really shooting up the school because I'm mentally depressed or mentally ill. I have anxiety that struggles me every day. But I'm doing it. Teach a word. All the simplicities. I don't fucking know how to say that. All the fucking dunces out there. The brains are too, their skulls are too fucking low to understand everything. Unfortunately, the people I kill are the people that are killed. I'm sorry that their families have to go through this, but it's for the right of humanity. And the course we're going, we're fucked. In 50 years, we're fucked. Nothing's going to happen. Democrats and the Republicans are just going to fight, and people are keep going to taking sides and sides and sides. And some people are going to stick out and say they're the big brainers who don't think of it, but really they're the main problems. And it's just leading to a collapse. The world worked so hard for thousands and thousands of years. When the war happened, peace was a thing. People understood everything. People understood the logistics of human civilization. The time from 1920 to 1980 is the golden ages of humanity. In some countries may not have been that way. But for the big ones, it was the golden age. Everyone understood the world, but knew how to keep it in order. They knew the difference because war and peace. They knew that they could cooperate and live together. And people are just taking that away. What I'm doing is an act to show people are taking it away, and I'm trying to preserve it. To show that no one is safe, no matter how hard they work. Your protests aren't going to do anything. They're just words. They're not actions. No one would care if I go up to the school and shout a sign, "We're too innocent. Bring back the equality between violence and peace." You'll think I'm fucking delusional. But to take action is what you have to do. Action is the only thing out of humanity that has made us this far. has brought us this far into civilization. And society is collapsed. Civilization is no more. People don't see it, but we're on the brink of downfall. And not just the break, but the beginning of the end, basically. Everyone is born, works hard, and thinks that everything's going to be the same for hundreds of years. The technology will advance and that's it. But that's not how it happens. The bell rings to end fifth hour. Tomorrow, October 30th, November 30th, 2021. Into look to the dividend between the boys and the girls' bathroom. With my black jacket on, and I will walk behind someone, and I will shoot a bullet in their skull. And that's my first victim. I put an open fire on everyone in that hallway. The hallway is too jam-packed. I will try and hit as many people as I can. I will reload, and I will find people hiding. I'm going to teach them a lesson of how they're wrong, how they're being brainwashed. I understand that I'm going to prison for this. Michigan doesn't have a death penalty. I don't know it.
This holiday season, save yourself from cooking, cleaning, and hosting with a trip to Evermore.
Somebody as I say I'm going to kill other people. I do not want to die. I realize how valuable life is. And I realized I broke the code of what's happening. I broke the code. I realized what is actually happening. And these people, they don't have the capabilities of understanding it. And so I'm going to teach the entire nation and the world of what's happening and how we're on the brink of downfall. We'll be using 6R SP2022. I brought it at Acme Firearms Oxford, Michigan on Friday. It is a 9mm pistol. It takes 15+1 ammo capacity. I have 3 magazines for it. I've worn my mask for too long. I can't take it anymore. I broke. I fought it for years and for years, lying to myself over and over again. But it's taught me the truth. There's no voices in my head. The voices are me. I am the voices. I am arguing with myself back and forth. I have 3 constant voices, and then there's me physically. And I'm doing whatever those 3 voices tell me to do. And one of them is always coming up on top. And that's the one that's taken over. That's what people call the demons. There are no demons. I am the demon. You are the demon. There is a demon in everyone that is the voice. The demon will take over. There's nothing I can do about it. My life is already on a downfall. If I don't do this, nothing will happen. The world will collapse. I will be in misery. I'll probably just end up in a useless career in the army and killing myself. What use is that? I have the chance to teach the world to become a better place, and I have to take that chance. I've missed many opportunities in my life, and I'm not missing this one. I'm going to try and flee the school for as long as I can until I get caught. There's so many people who think they're going to live a life, right? Go to college, have a great career, get a family, grow old, die happily. But they don't know. And once in a day, they're going to die, and their lives are going to be changed forever. I understand my consequences. I understand that people put me in prison for this. I've already said goodbye to everything. I went through all the phases. I'm surprised I even do it today. I'm sorry for manipulating your mom and dad. You have trust in me. I made sure you had trust in me, and I just disowned you. But you should know it's for a cause. And I'm ruining my life and not yours. Yeah.
Please welcome President Ronald Reagan, who has a few questions for you.
I was going to try to put like a side-by-side picture of Ethan Crumbley and Thomas Matthew Crooks, but they don't have a side-by-side. Please let me know your thoughts. Again, the mindset. They feel like they are alone. They're overlooked. As he said, the mass shooter from MSU, he wasn't noticed. Nobody took notice of him. He was an outcast. They treated him bad. They hate me. Feels rejected. Feels like a loner. I want to share this video. Let me see if I can get it up. It's a video of one of Thomas Matthew Crooks, one of his classmates that he went to school with. He spoke to the media, and he talked about how Mr. Crooks was allegedly bullied. So let me go to that, and then I'm going to get back to the article. This is by NBC News. It's titled, "Former Classmate of Trump Rally Gunman Says He Was Bullied Almost Every Day." This video is about 2.5 minutes long.
As we've been here, there's a large media presence here. You've had members of the community come and approach us, including one person who said he actually went to high school with this suspected shooter. I want you to listen to a little bit of our conversation there.
He was bullied almost every day.
In what way? Can you explain?
I mean, he would sit alone at lunch. I mean, he was just an outcast, and you know how kids are nowadays. So they're gonna see someone like that, and they're gonna target him because they think it's funny or whatever. So it's the best way I can describe it. And it's honestly kind of sad. Like, I don't want to say this is what provoked it, but you never know.
Yeah. You said he was a loner?
Yeah. I want to say he was a loner more because he was quiet, but like he was just bullied. Like he was bullied so much.
This is high school.
Yeah.
What did they, do you remember at all what they said to him or called him?
No. He was just made fun of, I guess, for the way he dressed or his appearance.
That's what he was saying. He said that he was actually in the class before, behind the suspected shooter here. And we have some movement here where you hear an ambulance or a car horn, excuse that background noise. But one thing that we also heard from that conversation is that when we asked what he was bullied for, what this shooter was bullied for, he pointed to his clothing. Apparently, according to this person who says he was a classmate, the shooter would wear military style clothes or hunting clothes regularly as he was at school. So we're still learning a lot more. We can tell you investigators continue to go in and out of the scene here. We know multiple agencies are here, not just local police, but the county bomb squad. As I mentioned last night, I saw the ATF here. It's a calm scene. It's not completely evacuated. Many residents are still in their homes behind here, but you can tell this is definitely a focal point of this investigation as we learn more about this suspected shooter who, again, from what we know and from public records, does not have a criminal history, not a large social media presence. So there's a lot more information that folks are looking to learn, Tom.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about...
Okay. I want to close this window out because I definitely didn't plan on going over that. Now, I want to get back to the article. And I am going to share my screen. I had some, trying to show you some pictures of like him, and then of course of Ethan Crumbley. So Ethan Crumbley is here. That's another picture of Ethan Crumbley. And then this is Mr. Crooks. So it's going to make that a little bit larger while I talk about him and read the article. The day before the shooting, Thomas Matthew Crooks went to a local shooting club and practiced on the rifle range. Counsel for the Clarendon Sportsman Club confirmed to ABC News. The 20-year-old purchased ammunition shortly before the incident, both online and in person, according to law enforcement sources. He asked his employer, a nursing home where he worked as a dietary aide, to take the day off on the day of the shooting, but said he would be back as soon as the next day, sources said. Sometime before the shooting, Crooks searched the internet for both Trump and President Joe Biden, as well as the dates of Trump's rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, and for those of the Democratic National Convention in Chicago. Sources said he also left a message on the gaming platform Steam, in which he said that July 13th will be my premiere. Watch as it unfolds. On the day of the assassination attempt, he asked if he could borrow his father's AR-15 style rifle, saying he planned to go to a shooting range, sources said, because Crooks' father had previously let him use the gun for target shooting. He was not suspicious that his son was planning anything of concern. Crooks went to a local gun shop that day where he bought 50 rounds of 5.56 millimeter ammo. He also stopped at a Home Depot to buy a 5-foot ladder, though it was not found at the scene and is not believed to have been used to access the roof. He then drove to the Trump rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, parking about a third of a mile away at a gas station. For at least an hour before the shooting, Crooks was seen walking around near the rally area. Crooks was seen in video obtained by Pittsburgh ABC affiliate WTAE, pacing just beyond the boundaries of the Trump rally at 5:06 p.m., around 1 hour and 5 minutes before shots were fired. He was also seen walking around near the magnetometers minutes before the shooting. According to law enforcement sources, some witnesses reported him as a suspicious person, law enforcement sources said. So I will show you a video a little bit later, if it's not a part of this package, that shows him walking around. He then made his way to a nearby building, climbing up air conditioner units until he was able to get on the roof of an adjacent building, according to sources. From there, he moved onto a taller building next to it. Just before Crooks opened fire, rally goers spotted him on the roof and tried to alert the Secret Service. In an unclassified briefing Wednesday, law enforcement officials said 20 minutes passed between when Secret Service snipers first spotted Crooks on the roof and when he opened fire on Trump. He was identified as a person of interest 62 minutes before the shooting, they said. A Butler Township police officer attempted to stop the shooter, climbing up the roof to approach him, but Crooks pointed his gun at the officer, prompting the officer to retreat, according to Butler County Sheriff Michael T. Sloopy. It was at this point that Crooks began firing his weapon toward Trump, who at that moment turned to look at a jumbotron, possibly, saving his life. A Secret Service sniper shot back at Crooks, fatally shooting him in the head 26 seconds later, according to law enforcement officials. Okay, so we are done with that article. Okay, so I'm going to close this. Well, I'll leave it open. Okay. So I want to show you the video from the article. So let me share my screen. I'm going to enlarge it.
It's around 5 p.m. on Saturday, July 13th, in Butler, Pennsylvania. Supporters of former President Donald Trump are waiting for him to take the stage. They've been trickling in throughout the afternoon. 5:06 p.m., around 1 hour before Trump takes the stage, a person who appears to be 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks is caught on camera. In a video obtained exclusively by WTAE, he is seen pacing around these buildings just outside the security perimeter of the rally. He appears unarmed at this time. Law enforcement sources confirmed to ABC News they believe this is the suspected shooter who in a little over an hour will fire at the former president. While Crooks apparently paces outside the rally, two teams of counter-snipers are about to take their positions here, on these two buildings located behind where Trump will take the stage. 6:03 p.m., former President Donald Trump takes the stage at a campaign rally. 6:05 p.m., Trump stands behind the podium and begins to speak.
This is a big crowd. This is a big, beautiful crowd.
Rally attendees have been scanned for weapons before entering the event. 6:09 p.m., just 2 minutes before the first gunshots, the counter-sniper team positioned further south turns to face towards the building where the gunman is located. In the next minute, we will see them begin to move into position, kneeling down, grabbing their weapons, and pointing them in the direction of the shooter.
The Republican Party.
At the same time, 6:09 p.m., witnesses notice a gunman on the roof of this building located here, just outside the security perimeter. He is in an elevated position and around 400 feet away from the former president. Law enforcement sources later tell ABC News the shooter made his way onto the building by pulling himself up using an AC unit. 6:10 p.m., 1 minute before the first gunshots. A bystander captures what appears to be local law enforcement walking around looking at these two structures. Local law enforcement would later tell ABC News they had been alerted of suspicious activity in the area and were in the process of looking for a potential suspect.
You guys are doing it.
6:10 p.m. Trump pivots his head slightly to the right and starts describing a chart showing immigration stats. One of the counter-sniper teams is visible in this witness video. These onlookers notice something is off and start running away from where the shooter is located. 6:11 p.m. Trump has been speaking for about 8 minutes.
Country took over. And look what happened to
A supporter captures this footage from outside the rally perimeter moments before gunshots are heard. The first shot rings out. A second and a third shot are heard. Former President Trump ducks behind the podium. Another round of shots. 6:12 p.m. More agents huddle around Trump. About 15 seconds go by and we hear one last shot. From these bleachers located to the right of where Trump is speaking, a bystander captures agents huddled around the former president, shielding him. He then shifts the camera to the crowd. Someone needs help. An attendee appears to be shot, possibly in the head. An ER doctor jumping in to help. The victim will later be identified as 50-year-old Corey Compertor, a firefighter and a father of two. The family would post tributes online later that evening. An agent is heard saying the shooter is down.
Shooter's down. Are we good to move? We're clear. We're clear.
Secret Service agents lift the former president.
I got you, sir. I got you. Let me get my shoes.
Blood is visible on his face and shirt.
Watch out.
He pumps his fist into the air. The crowd starts to chant. Agents escort Trump down the stairs. He continues to pump his fist. He is escorted into a black SUV that drives away from the grounds. Bystanders capture footage of what is believed to be the suspected gunman's body laying motionless on the roof of a nearby building. The building located north of where the president was speaking, just under 400 feet away from him. Later that evening, former President Trump confirms in a social media post that a bullet pierced the upper part of his right ear. The path of that bullet captured here in this image taken by New York Times photographer Doug Mills. Law enforcement will later confirm that one attendee was killed. That was Corey Compertor, the firefighter, a husband, and a father to two girls. Law enforcement said he shielded his wife and daughter with his body. 2 others were also critically injured but are now in stable condition. The Secret Service is now investigating how a gunman got close enough to shoot and injure the former president. According to law enforcement sources, the 20-year-old Pennsylvania man fired from an AR-style rifle. The suspected shooter was killed by a Secret Service sniper.
So I think that was a good video to kind of watch. The last thing I want to show you, it was recently released another video showing Mr. Crooks walking around just casually in the area where they're selling like the souvenirs and things like that. So this is a very brief video. This video is on Live Now Fox and is titled New Thomas Crooks Video Emerges Before Trump Rally Shooting.
Thomas Crooks, the would-be assassin, just moments before the shooting at his rally. So Fox News' CB Cotton has been covering this and joins us now with the latest with this new video release. CB.
Hi, Mike. Great to be with you. Yeah, this video is now the earliest known recording of would-be assassin Thomas Crooks. And much like how federal investigators described him as a loner, this video captures Crooks by himself, wandering among vendor stands at the Butler Farm Show. This was taken, Mike, at 4:26 p.m., less than 2 hours before he opened fire at the July 13th rally. And, you know, when you slow the video down, you can see that Crooks appears to look straight ahead and then move his gaze to a nearby merchandise stand. The business owner who captured it, Joe Tomko, telling the Daily Mail the vendor area had no security and anyone could walk in. Tomko said he's unsure of where Crooks went after passing by him, but the business owner said the gunman was walking towards a rally checkpoint. And Tomko, he also added to the outlet that he has spoken with investigators and shared this video with the FBI. Mike, I want to mention that this video was taken at the same time a local sniper alerted his counterparts to Crooks' suspicious behavior. The sniper texting, quote, "Someone followed our lead and snuck in and parked by our cars, just so you know. I'm just letting you know because you see me go out with my rifle and put it in my car, so he knows you guys are up there." Mike, we know about 30 minutes before the shooting, local law enforcement were trying to track Crooks down, but the Secret Service says communication issues prevented agents from being alerted that Crooks was armed about 30 to 40 seconds before the shots rang out. Mike, we've learned from the Secret Service that it's reviewing this video and others from that day. And all this comes ahead of a bipartisan House task force visiting the rally site. They're investigating the attempted assassination, and they're expected to return to the grounds of where this all unfolded this next week. So a lot more to watch with this story. Back to you.
Yeah, it truly is. And when you mentioned there, when we see that video of him just nonchalantly just coming through, and that to know that there was no security in place where anybody could came just so close to this rally.
I think it's really alarming, and it's very much in line with what we have heard from other people who were there that day, who said they had concerns about security or a lack thereof as they were looking around. I spent a little more than 3 weeks on the ground in Butler, Pennsylvania, and I talked to at least 5 rally goers who told me that it really struck them right away, the lack of security in the area. I actually even talked to one security volunteer who said that the night before he was on scene, he thought some things seemed off. So much so that the next day when the rally happened on July 13th, he decided not to go in because he was really, really concerned. He said he didn't see adequate bag checks. He thought people were being screened too quickly. So what this business owner reported to the Daily Mail is very much, it's in the same vein as what we heard from other people who were there that day.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And so many questions still need to be answered in that investigation. CB Cotton, thanks so much for joining us as always.
Okay, so I'm checking to see. don't have any comments, so if you want to comment, I can read them later and see what you think about it all. What do you think about the mindset of these mass shooters? If you particularly want to talk about Ethan Crumbley in comparison to Thomas Crooks not being a mass shooter, but focusing primarily on shooting President Donald Trump, I'd like to know your thoughts. I think Crooks did it for the notoriety. I think he, like many others, they weren't noticed. They didn't get that attention, and they may have felt outside of mainstream society, maybe even feelings of being ostracized or rejected. And this was a way. In Ethan Crumbley's words, he said, this is my chance and I'm not going to let this go by. I think this is similar. This was proximity. This was opportunity. And they want to be remembered. So those are my thoughts. I'd be happy to read yours. So thank you for spending this time with me. I really, really appreciate it. I want you to have a beautiful afternoon. Remember, stay smart, stay safe, stay savvy, be well, all my friends. Bye, everybody.